and all that shit. We finna go down to the courthouse and the bitch finna have a party later. Like, I'm not finna do that. I'm not, I'm not doing the whole wedding thing.
Nah, it's no, I'm keep it real. I'm here for it. Like in terms of like just a wedding, but I've said this, and this has gotten to me in more than a few conversations and arguments, whatever you want to call it, with females. But like my whole thing is like I don't want the actual wedding. If you like, let's go get married. Cool. We can courthouse this. The drive-through chapel in Las Vegas could do this for $225 with tax. I've already done the research. I know.
Tax though.
With tax, your license. I mean, I'm telling you, with tax, the car car you gonna rent from them, or the car you drive through, your license and everything, $225, $75 with tax. Done deal. You married.
Cheaper than the shit than a real wedding. I'll tell you that much.
It is, but this is where cats like jump down my throat with it because they're always like, "Oh, you just no." Because my idea is like just like everybody talked about. At the end of the day, it's gonna either come back on you or it's gonna come back on this other person to make this work. So when it breaks down to, and we talked about it, and I want to talk about it again, it's like communication of needs and all this other stuff. But like when it really comes down to it, like ain't nobody else gonna be around. Like cool, you had 100 people, 200 people at your wedding. At the end of the day, it's just you two, or even to a certain degree, it's just you, because you have to look at yourself and be like, all right, I can fix this. I know how to make us work through this, or I'm here to fight through this, or I'm out. So all those people that were there and looked great and it was awesome, but don't none of that count for nothing now. So that's always been my standpoint on it. Like I'm here for it. Like I get a text message right now. Talking about I cave. We go. It's not a big deal. Like I'm here for it. Like I definitely do it. I don't have a problem with it. But I understand the concept of like I understand what you guys are saying about never doing it again. Especially from Kiana's standpoint, where she's talking about like all the stuff that goes into being separated and taken apart, right, and just the back and forth and the rigmarole of it. Like I've been with my partners that have gone through it. Both my brothers. I've gone through it directly with them. So I know what it takes out of you. I've seen it from male and female standpoint, what it will take out of you. So I mean, you obviously don't ever plan for any of that to fail, but at the same time, I'm not anti-marriage at all. Like I'm here for it. I just don't want my whole thing is I've never wanted the show. I don't ever want to have to deal with that 4-month run up to this event, where people have all these opinions and you got to do all this other stuff to,
appease other people,
appease other people, make them feel included in all these different traditions. Like that's the part where I've always been like, no.
That's
everything else. Yeah, for the actual idea of marriage. Yeah, I'm still an old school romantic on that part. Like, yeah, why not? I'll put on a ring, you put on a ring, we go.
Yeah, that's why I said the next time I get married, we not doing the whole ceremony, big show, gotta be outside or on the beach. We're not doing that. Like because like you said, at the end of the day, those hundreds of people, whoever you invited, they not finna be there in your marriage. They not finna be there fighting for your marriage. They not finna be there having them tough conversations.
If they are in your marriage is doomed anyway.
They not finna be there having them tough conversations. It's just finna be you and that person. So if I ever do get married again, I'm cool with going to the courthouse. I'm cool with going through the drive-through in Las Vegas. Like I'm cool with that because at the end of the day, it's just us two in this marriage. And to be honest with you, I learned that in my marriage, I learned that at some point in time, sometimes it's just you in this marriage. Sometimes it's just you fighting. Sometimes it's just him fighting. Sometimes it's both of y'all fighting. But if y'all both are consistent and y'all both want it, then it can work. But when that one person don't want it no more and it's just you fighting, you're in a losing battle. So I still believe in marriage. I still want to get married again, but it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a lot different.
Like I said, I'm gonna take special friend for $5,000, Alex.
Life partner for 200.
Okay, Will and Jada. Life partner, Will and Jada. All right.
And yep.
Yeah, I got the entanglement anyway. So what do you? I mean, so aside from that, like in an actual relationship, what have you had to do to keep from cheating? Because once again, Sarita and Kiana, I know both of y'all very well, and I know some of the things that have been said to y'all. I didn't see the messages. So, what does it take to keep from cheating, in your opinion? Sometimes,
I know for me, what kept me from cheating is, in this instance, was my vows, because I was
right?
married. That kept me from cheating, because even though I was married, yeah, the DM still came, the offer still came, but my vows kept me faithful, because I just, for me personally, I believed in my vows. I believed what I said when I stood up there. I believed, like I was in this wholeheartedly when I stood up there on that day and said my vows. So that's one thing that kept me from cheating. Um, Even though I had the opportunity, I had the chances. Um, Now, if I wasn't married, I don't know, because it's
We are talking once again. Let's rewind an hour ago. We are talking monogamous
now
relationships. Only monogamous
if
relationships. If you were in a monogamous relationship, whether you married or not, you've committed yourself to this person. This is your social contract. We didn't iron out all the terms. You not talking to them. No work wives, no work husbands. All of this. We rewind the tape.
then
You're in a
in
monogamous
that case,
situation.
Y'all
right,
together.
because we've had
Yeah,
that
exactly.
conversation, and I know where we stand, and we're together, then no, I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize that. If I'm 10 toes down and you're 10 toes down, that's what it is. Like, I am faithful to a fault and to a detriment of myself. And I know that is a fault that I have. That is a toxic trait that, like, when I say I am 10 toes down for you, I am 10 toes down for you. I am faithful to a fault. So for me, if that's what it is, and that's the conversation that we've had, and we know from jump, this is what it is, regardless of how far we are apart, regardless of what it is, that's what I'm gonna be. Now, when I find out some shit is different, well, now then, hey, things change. But until, but until that happens, I'm gonna be there 100%, faithful and all. Like I said again, I am loyal to the detriment, and I know this. I am loyal to the detriment of myself, and it's not just in marriage, but in relationships. Because again, with my son's father, I was loyal to the motherfucker, faithful to as a motherfucker, and it was time, and I knew the nigga was cheating, and we was in stakeouts together, and I knew the nigga was cheating, and my black ass still was faithful and loyal, even with evidence in front of my face.
You were, and it was a pain in the ass.
So, so that's one thing I can say about me, and as a woman, for whoever the man is that gets me, one thing he can never say is that chick wasn't loyal. She wasn't 10 toes down for me. That's one thing that a man will never be able to say for me, about me. He may say, oh, she was crazy. She got a slick mouth. She got hands. But the bitch was loyal. Like, she'll cut a nigga quick. She can draw blood with a straw. But she was loyal.
Hey, first of all, hold on. We ain't gonna talk about that. I still got that scar.
But she was loyal. And now the fact that I'm a phlebotomist and I know how to drain your blood, bruh. Like, but one thing that they would never be able to say to me was that, oh, she wasn't loyal.
Yeah, what you got? Because I know you strike first.
Honestly, what keeps me from cheating most of the time, even when the opportunity presents itself, is I'm lazy. I'm lazy.
It's a lot of
and
work.
I'm a planner. It's a lot of work, and I'm a planner, and everything has to be calculated and timed. My life is like a synchronized film. Not very many things are out of place. And so to have to coordinate and weasel. So I got to lie, remember my lie, coordinate my lie, plan my lie, time. A bitch be tired. It's less work. It's too much work. It is too much mental. It's mentally draining. So by the time I coordinate all of this 3-ring circus, I ain't got no energy left to actually get no action in. It's like, you know what? I was just playing. You watch TV. I'm gonna lay here in your bed and take a nap because it's draining. I'm too lazy. I'm not built for it.
And as we sit here and start having this conversation, I flash back to when you had the bat phone.
Listen.
It was too much.
A whole phone in my name that I didn't have.
Listen. It'd be a lot. I ain't gonna lie.
I didn't. Oh my God.
I think why that's also now at my age.
I loved getting that bill from AT&T.
For what? I ain't got time. Like, I got too much to do. I ain't got time. That means I got to put it in my calendar. Too much work.
I think, you know what, that might be the difference between men and women, because I don't think we plot and scheme and cover up our tracks like we should.
That's why y'all niggas be getting caught. Because y'all don't cover up your tracks. We plan shit out. We like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this. We need to call her to make sure that she knows that this is where I am. So if the nigga call her, she can say this, this, and this. Like, we have a whole checklist. We plan shit out. That's the difference. Y'all niggas just be out here reckless, sticking your dick. We have a whole itinerary. And we got people involved. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah. I've been drug into a couple of stories midstream and been fighting for my life because I don't know what happened, how I got involved, what we were supposed to be doing. Wait, no, it's my party? Oh, I'm throwing the party.
You got to be quick on your feet, though.
Okay.
That's the other thing.
I mean, you come on now, y'all know me. But that ain't the point. The stories out there are we running with it. Like, you know, Kevin Hart say, your bullshit is my bullshit. Yeah, no,
and that's why
I had to live. I had to live that down for a while.
That's why you two, I know. If I can call you and be like, hey, wasn't we here? Like, y'all niggas gonna run with it. I know the two to call because I know my bullshit is y'all bullshit. Now the rest of these niggas out here, I ain't calling them because I'm gonna get caught up for real. Like, it is what it is. I already know.
I'm too lazy to come up with an alibi on why I'm lying to you.
I am. It's true.
All right, Melissa, go ahead. I love these answers. These are my favorites.
I agree with them. I'm the same way. I feel like I don't have the energy to lie. I just don't. Whatever decision you're going to make about how you feel about me, I need you, because, again, I'm a product of being on the opposite end of that. So,
right.
I love the way that sis puts it when she said, I made the best decision based off of all the options I had, all the options that were presented to me. And so I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, man, shit, look, it is what it is. I don't have time to keep up with the lie. And then, because so much shit has happened to me, I'm suspect of everything. So I'm going to be equally paranoid that somebody is just as smart as me to figure out the shit that I have uncovered with other people. So I would probably have a whole mental breakdown on my own. I just don't have time for it. I mean, we either ride or we not.
Right. Well, I mean,
and the only way that can start is if I open up the conversation to you to allow you to even feel like you have the space to be, or for me to be cheating or communicating or whatever. So it all depends on how far you even let it get. It shouldn't even get that far. But, I mean, what else?
Oh man, I was gonna ask because like it seems like everybody, now that we've had Melissa take us to church in the Cell Block C a couple times, it seems like everybody has been cheated on and cheated at some point in time. So I'm like, how does that play out with your mindset in terms of like moving forward? Like, do you automatically like I know for me, I'll start off with speaking for me. Like I know for me, fight or flight was a real thing for a little while. Like if I thought it was gonna go left, I would immediately run to my comfort zone. These scared animals always run the ground they know. And it's still taking a long time. It's taken all the way up to this very last relationship where I could even communicate that. But like that was always my thing. So like, does that ever play a factor? Like when things get a little too unclose or too close, or like it doesn't seem like you can see the ground no more?
I'll speak for me.
Right.
Being fresh out of a 8-year marriage, and then someone new coming into my life, I've had those moments where it's been fight or flight. But I will say with this person, they've made it comfortable for me to have that conversation, to be like, hey, shit's getting a little shaky. Like, I feel like you, and especially because it's long distance, it's a lot of communication. So that person has made it comfortable for me to be like, hey, some shit went different these last few weeks. You've been a little MIA. You've been a little different. I'm a creature of habit. I notice everything. So what's the deal? So because that person has made it comfortable for me, I don't always flight. I fight, but that flight is always in the back of my mind. I will say that
Right.
if that I will initially go to fight first. And I think that's just because of the way I was raised and how it's always been presented to me, to if this is what you want and this is your relationship, to fight for it. Because literally my grandparents was till death do you part. My other grandparents was, well, nigga, you hit me, so we pardon. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, and then my parents, like, yes, they had their issues, and they did get divorced. But with my parents, they remained friends, and it literally was till death do you part. When I tell you, my mother was there in that hospital room until he took his last breath. And them niggas had been married for 19 years, divorced for probably more than that. And she was still there. Like, I know nothing but commitment. I know nothing but fight in relationships. So
Right.
for me, even though I still got flight in the back of my mind, my first thought is fight. So I've never been the flight person. I'm a fight in the beginning, but you keep fucking around and you're going to find out a bitch can flight.
Right.
That's what it is. But like I said, I know nothing but fight when it comes to relationships. So yeah, I think that for me, fight is always going to be my number one. What happened to Key?
What happened? I don't know. She slid off real quick. I don't know. I think I heard her microwave go off and
No, that was
disappeared.
mine. My lights went out for a second and then they came back on. I don't know what that was about.
Something's going on. Now I was trying to unmute Melissa because hers is muted now, and I'm like, what's going on with this? It's always something.
She's unmuted.
Yeah. That's how
Oh, there we go. Melissa is on you until she got to get back.
I'm a runner, I'm a track star. So I am a person, and I know I am. So I'm a person who I'll tell you that. Hey, look here. I'm not for the weak. I'm gonna tell you that now. I am not for the weak in spirit or in truth. So because of that PTSD, I'm just kind of like, yeah, when I start to feel like I'm too much pressure, I'll back off and start to create that. Yeah, well, maybe because you don't look like you handling this well, so let me back it up. And that's kind of also a defense mechanism for me as well. So for me, it's just kind of like, well, I mean, even with being here and spending this year here, I've ran into a lot of people, but I haven't dated anybody since I've been here. Now I'm like, okay, I got the first year out the way. I'm ready to see what is out. I mean, what's out and what's about. And at the same time, it's kind of like it's a little scary out here. So I'm not even sure if I want to know what's out and about. I might just want to see if anybody seep through the walls and they just as much of an outgoing introvert as I. Um, I also think that it's the season of options. So people don't hold that commitment. It's very hard to find people who hold the old school and the traditional commitment values because there's too many options. There's too many things to see, too many people who will, yeah, I know you happy at home, but you can still be with me too. And as long as there is that, I feel like people, for the most part, are always going to feel uneasy. People are always going to feel like, or for people who aren't secure, are always going to feel like somebody has to step up to the next level to make them feel like they're the one and the only one. Because things are just presented to you on totally different levels at this point. So it not only takes we, but how do you stand as an individual before you even come into my atmosphere? That'll determine whether or not we fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you got wings and I got wings, then there's no reason to tie the cement to our feet. But if you come in on cement blocks and you walk up on somebody with cement blocks, then okay, we'll stand here and we'll shadow box
Right.
this thing. But just know that I'm quick to. It's not because I got wings on. It's just that I'm trying not to be anchored down with no bullshit. As long as you understand that, and as long as I feel comfortable enough to be transparent enough to tell you that, I think we should be
Right.
okay.
And that's the thing with me.
Yeah, you fuck around and
Right.
find out, then yeah, then
And
next,
that's
you
the
know
thing
what
with
I
me.
mean?
Like, I know me, like in this last couple of years, I've been able to rediscover Sarita. So I know me, I know what I want, I know what I don't want. And I know that, like you said, I have those cement blocks, but I also got them wings. So if you got them cement blocks and we got them cement blocks, we good. And the person that I found so far, they have those cement blocks, so we good. We have those conversations. But also, I was upfront and transparent with them, and that's the other thing about me. You never have to wonder what it is with me, because I'm gonna tell you straight out. I've always been that person, and I've always been that person to tell you straight, no chaser, and that's gotten me in a lot of trouble before, because people can't take it. People can't take the straight, no chaser. Luckily, I have people in my life and in my circle who understand. She a straight no chaser. She finna tell you how it is, whether you like it or not. She may say it with a little attitude. She may be
Mm-hmm.
nice. She may be sweet. 9 times out of 10, it's finna be literally straight no chaser. She finna give you the neck roll, the eyes, the whole nine. But this person has been able to take that. So now that I found that person who can take that straight no chaser and who has those cement blocks, things are working a lot better. Uh, but he also knows my wings work, nigga. You fuck around, you gonna find out how these wings work.
Period.
Yana,
I missed it. The internet went out. I had no power. What I missed?
we were talking about how being on both sides of the line, being both the cheated on and the cheater, affects your fight or flight in terms of moving forward with people, or just how you view relationships as a whole.
I mean, to me, I don't think it. In my perspective, I don't think it affects in a major way until the flags start going up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I was saying earlier, I don't heal from things. I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of scooch them to the side. And so just like I mean, I know everyone else has baggage. So for me coming in, I want them to evaluate me on my own merit, on my own person. And so I try to give that opportunity to everyone else. So it's like when the flags start popping up, it's like, wait, hold on, player. And so I've gotten to a point now where I'm gonna say what I gotta say about that red flag as soon as I see it. you moving foul. What's your issue? Let's have a conversation. And because at that point, it's the red flag is what I think it is. It's my perspective of what it is. But to you or to another person, it may not be a red flag. It may be something that's normal to them that has no shadiness to it. So I've gotten to a point where I'm going to have that conversation the first time you do it. Like, hold on, pimp, what is this? Because then I'm going to let you go on record of telling me what it is. And I'll accept it at face value. So then down the line, if it happens again, and it's like, okay, well, now I know what this is. And it's clearly not what you told me it was. So at that point, it's like, I guess I'm going to go and head out because I'm too old for this. I got too many things going on in my life. And one of the things that I'm not going to do after 40 is let somebody's dusty ass son worry my brain cells. The Lord has given me my own son to drive me ragged. Therefore, that spot is taken. And if I wanted to find another gentleman to do as such, I would have another kid.
That part.
And so I don't have, like, I know we all have our problems, but I don't have time to invest in a full-grown man that his mother has sent out into the world broken. Been there, done that, wrote the check, and got the fuck off that horse. So, for me, at my age, at this point, you either get right or get left. There's no fight or flight. I'm very cut and dry, clear cut. Either you for me or you ain't. It's an on and off switch. And so it's like, I tried it. And like Melissa said, my tolerance level is about here. It's about the size of a threading needle. Right there at the top. That's where we are. And so for me, it's not about flight or fight. It's like, try this. It didn't work. Next. Because I feel like I done spent years kissing the same damn frog and it still wasn't shit. So now, I'm going to take you at face value. I'm going to let you explain yourself once. And the moment your explanation is not really what you said it is to me, you can go. Because all that tells me is you're not big enough to have an adult conversation. When it comes to covering your ass, you're just going to lie to cover your ass. And then I got to look at you every day and figure out, is you lying or is you telling the truth? Because one thing about it is I can date a murderer and know that one day he may kill me. I know what he going to do. But I ain't going to know that day is here until it's here. But a liar, every time you open your mouth, my overthinking ass is sitting there going,
Self?
I said to myself, myself said, is this nigga lying?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just at that point where I think my flight or flight has like decided that we're not going to do this anymore because it's too much stress on us. The situation is what it is. I'm going to take it at face value, and either I'm going to take it or leave it. I'm not for navigating, especially in the early phases of talking or dating or whatever. And I feel like a lot of us make that mistake. People do the shit, and we like, oh, it's okay. And then 9 years down the line, this shit has blown up. You like, I should have left fucking week 2 when all the red flags are in my face. So now I've gotten to a point, especially when not only do I have to protect me and my sanity, I have a child with special needs that I have to protect. Right. So therefore, because, fight or flight ensues a panic in you. And my child is very perceptive of my feelings. So if I'm panicking, he's going to panic and his world is going to become chaos and turmoil, all because this one person over here can't get it together. So I have to protect me. I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. I throw hands in a minute. I don't care. But my child is defenseless. And so, therefore, for me, at this point, it's not fight or flight. It's a light switch. It's either on or it's off. And the moment I turn it off, we're not turning it back on.
And see, that's the difference with me and Kiana. Because mine is 19, his defense mechanism and like his response to me is a little bit different. But And also, again, because of what I have grown up with and grown up and seen, that literally death do you part, nigga, you hit me is part. And then with my parents, like I said, it was, at one point, it was volatile, but they remained friends. So it was still death do you part, because everybody knows who knows me and who knows my parents. Even though them niggas was divorced for like 20 years, they was still married. Like, let's be real.
Man,
Let's
were
be
they
real.
ever?
They just wasn't married on paper.
Yeah.
So when
it's
right,
the mindset.
right,
That's what I'm saying. I would rather
right.
have the mindset than the paper, because when they had the paper,
I mean,
it wasn't where they
right,
needed it to be.
Right.
But without the paper, the mindset was
right,
in play, and that's what it's about
right.
at the end of the day.
Yeah. I've had this conversation off camera where people say the exact same thing, where people are just like, it's not about
literally, my mama could call him and he would be on his way. Vice versa. He could call her and she'd be like, Sarita, I need you to take me to your daddy's house. Like, it was never an issue. So for me, it's always been fight for your relationships. Even if you're not legally married, fight for your relationships like they was friends. So I know nothing different. So for me, it's and I love that about me, but also it's a detriment to me because it hurts me in the end sometimes. And I have to be able to figure that out. Like, and I'm still working on that. Even at 40, I'm still working on, I see this red flag, but I'm still gonna fight. Like, it's still a give and take that I'm still working on, because I know nothing more. I know nothing, like I said, my grandparents was literally till death do you part. My other grandparents was, you hit me, nigga, it's part. Like, that was the cutoff. Like, you can do whatever. You can have kids outside of this relationship, which he did, but the minute you put the minute you put your hands on me, I'm finna get this bat and I'm finna go 5150 on your ass, which my granny did. And then, like, Annie Ruth wasn't no punk. Like, that's what she wasn't. So I've seen that part. And then also I've seen, hey, we've been married, we got these kids, we've been high school sweethearts, we did all these things together, but now things went left, but we're still friends. And whatever you need from me, I got you, even though we're not legally married. And till death do us part, for real. Like, when I say this woman, like I said, this woman was at his hospital bed and by his side every chance she got. Like, that's all I know. So for me, I know nothing. I know nothing else but to fight.
I think that kind of leads me to my next question: is like, how much of this is just because I was thinking about it in terms of like, and thinking about it in terms of me, it's just like I've taken a certain level of disrespect at moments, and then all of a sudden, when you look back at it, you're like, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. And so it helps you process it. It gives you a different perspective of things. So like we talk about the triggers, you talk about the things like the red flags. You're like, how do I feel about this person now that you said that? Because that immediately sparked this thought in my mind, like, oh, I've been down here before. And so I can walk away right now, or I can do what I know what to do, which is, well, actually, I can't do it anymore. But used to be, you hop on your phone, you make your move. But it's tricky. So I'm like, is it about seeing disrespect, or is it just about prioritizing things? Because I think a lot, if we want to get on the whole, now that we've diverged off of cheating into like relationships and moving forward, but like, is it about disrespect, or is it just about the priorities, or just about what you want and how you see people and how you move forward and what you tolerate? Because we've all said that you see red flags, or you see something and you're like, man, I shouldn't, but we all stayed. So it's like, what made any of us stay?
I think it's about growth, honestly, because when I was 19, 20, there were certain things that I said I wouldn't take, and I took them. Now in my 40s, there's certain things that I say that I'm not going to take, and I stand 10 toes down on that. Like, I think it's all about growth, because also, and it's also about relationships and what you learn from those relationships and what you take from those relationships. Because me and my son's father, there was verbal abuse, there was physical abuse. Now in my new relationship, I know you may get a little verbal abuse, but that physical abuse, nigga, that's gonna get you cut. We not doing that. So that's what I'm saying. Like you learn from certain things. You grow and you learn. So like I said, with him, 19, 20, 21, 22, I took some physical abuse. But 25, 26, 27, 28, on into the marriage, touch me, you die. Type, you know what I'm saying? Like verbal, okay. I'm going to take a little bit of that. Now that I'm in my 40s, physical, verbal, we're not doing that. Like, I got these standards, and I'm going to stand 10 toes down on my standards. If you don't like my standards and you can't live up to those standards, then it's going to be me and Jesus. Like there's certain things, like as you get older, as you grow, as you understand you, and the person that you are and the person that you want in your life, I think that changes as you get older. And the more that you are in tune with yourself and the more that you become comfortable with being who you are and being able to look in the mirror at yourself and be able to say, hey, this ain't what I want, this ain't what I need, and you're comfortable with that. Because honestly, like I told you that day, it's certain people who can't look themselves in the eye in the mirror for 10 seconds and be okay. Like it's some people who can't look themselves in the mirror and be okay with what they see. When you're able to look at yourself in the mirror for 30 seconds or longer and be okay with what the reflection is looking back at you, then you understand you understand what you want, what you need, what you can and cannot handle. So for me, I've been able to, it's been hard at times, but I've been able to look at myself for a minute and be like, okay, bitch, you did these things. And now you got to be okay with them. Okay, bitch, you've let these things slide. You got to be okay with that. And in the future, don't let that shit happen again. Like it's a continuous growth process. And if you're stagnant where you can't get that growth, then that's a problem. Like you got to be able to grow. For somebody who's in their 40s and still has a mindset of a 20-year-old, that like you got to something ain't right. Like you got to be able to move forward. So for what I think is what you tolerated in your 20s, 9 times out of 10, you ain't finna tolerate in your 40s, in your 30s and 40s. So it's all about growth and understanding who you are and evolving and being comfortable with that and being able to stand 10 toes down and be able to verbalize, hey, I'm not going to take this in this relationship. I've done that before, and this ain't what we finna do now.
Kiana, Professor Moss, either one, whoever wants next.
I'll go next.
Topaz, inmate Topaz, if you could.
I feel like, at this point, I've gotten to the point of know your worth and add tax. My younger years, I was still, even though you think you know who you are, you're still navigating. And so I feel like we accept less than we're worth when we're younger because we don't recognize our own value.
Mm-hmm.
And so although you think you want all these things, I want a man that does this, and this, you feel that your value is only worth getting 1 or 2 of those things. Okay, well, he got 2 of my 5 qualifications. I guess that's good enough. You know what I mean? Because you are still trying to figure out the value of your own self. So where now it's like, I know my worth. I know what I expect. I know what I desire. And I'm going to need a bonus on that if you trying to rock with me. I'm vibrating on this level. And if you want to be with me, you need to be up here. There's no more bringing myself down to where they are because I don't feel I'm worthy of everything that I'm asking for. I've gotten to the point where this is my worth plus tax, because we in California, everything got tax on it. You can't buy nothing at wholesale, and I'm no different. I got tax too. And so now that I'm there, I'm at a point where I'm not willing to accept anything beneath where I am. The navigation of figuring out who Kiana is has been taken out, because I've gotten to a place where I know who Kiana is at this point. Now, granted, as I get older, I will change, I will evolve, because it's human. Mm-hmm. But as long as I stay true to who I am and the worth that I know I have, anyone that comes along now has to vibrate on that frequency or they're not welcome. And the moment that they stop vibrating on that frequency, because people change, at that point, you can go ahead and exit stage left, and I'm going to keep vibrating.
I piggyback on that too. I feel the same way. I feel like who I was, or my attraction, and the pheromones of attraction that I give off grow with me. So when you're young and dumb, you're young and dumb. So the homeboys with the pants down to their ankles that just say, "Hey, yo, ma, I'm just trying to fuck and suck," then you all for the shits. When you get a little older than that, and can we just keep it 100? When you get a little older than that, now you into some shit, because wet dick and bubblegum ain't it. Where the niggas that eat coochie at? So you done shifted up just a little bit, because you need some grown and sexy. And then you may level up from there. We're the niggas that's eating coochie in between giving you the long strokes. We leveling up from there. So, and then, look, it's just some different shit that goes on different levels, right? Maturity. So all of that on real shit to say, what I was looking for when I was 19. And don't get me wrong, I got married at 19 again because of the generational thing. And like you ladies were saying, it's a lot of who you know you to be in that moment. You marry according to where you added value to you. So that's everything from how you grew up to the labels that you allowed your family or the people around you to put on you, whether you saw yourself with any value, and you attract people to that. And it's like trial and error. I don't really want that. So then as you grow and mature, you either grow together or you grow apart. I'm a firm believer in, if I met you here and I decided to grow and you stayed here, we're going to grow apart. But if you're with me on that ship, then we're going to grow and go together. So there is no apart. But if you are a person who continues to grow, because you don't stop that until you die, right? Then we're going to eventually, that fate is going to take care of things for itself, because I'm going to continue to move forward. You're either going with me or you're not. It's really inevitable as far as how far we get, whether I want you in my life or I don't. Because I'm sure we've all been in a position where we tried, kicked and screamed to keep somebody who didn't want to be kept. And you end up getting shot friendly fire because they didn't turn the gun now on you, trying to get away. And yeah, I've been on both sides of that too, on the trigger and at the opposite end. So it's like, yeah, if you want to go, go. I don't care if we got a piece of paper or not, my nigga. Piece of paper didn't stop me from relocating. It really didn't. Um, I appreciate the commitment, like you said, for what it is. If it's up here, then we can ride till the wheels fall off. The paper really doesn't matter. It's really a technicality. It's a symbol. It's an opportunity for you to present somebody in a way that says, I think I found somebody that's actually going to treat me like I ain't shit for once. But then you get to the end of that and you're like, you know what? This nigga treated me like shit. You owe me 5,400. You know what I mean? And I want my money tonight, or I'm going to be in the kneecap. See, so Just in case you were missing the threat, I just wanted.
No, and when you no, nope. I felt the threat a long time ago before we even got to the kneecaps. I already knew it was coming. I already knew it was coming.
You understand? There's a
Nope.
padlock. No, I'm just.
Nope. I
But
already nope. It's good.
but yeah, I think that even when you try to stay with somebody, those people that just aren't meant for you, it's gonna hurt till it's separated, or it's gonna stab you till it kill you off, one way or another, for real. Some everybody don't make it through, and my heart goes out to those that aren't mentally strong enough, because some people have taken less and went the fuck crazy for real, and they never snapped back. And that's with therapy, without therapy. Some people don't see therapy as therapy because people will tell you that that means you don't believe in God. You don't have a prayer life. You don't have no faith because God resolves everything. Well, I can tell you from somebody who was at church 6 days a week. Is a damn lie. Okay, so I can tell you as a mother who had to sit across from her daughter in a psychiatric ward after suicide attempts because of relationships and generational curses and things. Go see somebody, talk to somebody, take something. I'd rather her not take too many drugs. I'd rather my daughter mellow out on weed, for real. That was a conversation I wasn't ready to have as a mother. I would never tell my daughter, not Sister Melissa, tell her daughter it's okay to smoke the devil's lettuce. However, when shit got real, no. What's the most medicinal and the most realistic and the most natural way that you can calm down and mellow out and I can get inside your head for real and talk to you and be on the same level with you. Now I can't pop these meds, but I will smoke a blunt with you. I literally smoked a blunt with my youngest daughter. She's 22. For the first time a couple of months ago. Because that's just the level I had to adjust to so I could get where she was and figure out what the hell is going on in there, or in there. And like you were saying, Sarita, about the guilt as a parent, because I have introduced and interjected those. I had my first daughter, I had twin daughters when I was 19, 18. Got married to their father when I was 19. I was nowhere near ready. And I wasn't in a relationship that was healthy. So my panic was, damn, do I put daughters out there that feel like it's okay for a man to hit on them or a man to cheat on them? Because that's not the message I'm trying to give. So then I shifted. And then I was hardcore on any nigga that even looked in my direction. My resting bitch face is still immaculate and flawless, okay? Period. And so then I taught my daughters that because then when people would try to come into their life, they had that resting bitch face. And then I would have to be the one to say, hey, relax a little bit, chill out a little bit. It's okay to be soft here. It's okay to open up here and massage that thing. Um, and then even after I transitioned after that, there were sometimes I had to go back and correct what I said. Yeah, it's okay to be okay here, but watch this nigga right here, because that ain't it.
Mhm.
um, or turn this down, but turn this up and see what you're working with. So yeah, you're always going to be in that place of correcting because as you're learning to love yourself and allowing somebody to love you the way that you deserve, you realize that those are also the things that you've deposited into your children. And my children have children. I'm getting ready to be a grandmother of 7. So it's not only the blood on me, it's the blood on them, and it's the blood beyond that. Because the same way that my daughters got affected by my choices, my grandchildren are going to be affected by my choices and their mother's choices. I have 3 daughters. So I stay trying to comb that shit through. You know what I mean? As soon as it pops up here that it's just something I need to go back and check, I don't hesitate. And because of that, I can literally tell you, me and my daughters will go to war. But I respect it because at least they're thinking for themselves. At least they're no longer scared to speak up for themselves. My daughters have been through some heavy ass abuse with their biological father. Um, so if they feel like today is the day I want to be like, fuck you, mom, this is my life. Now that they're grown adults with their own kids, I mean, they don't take it to that extreme. They just, they start off, they have their attitudes or their tones and shit. I respect it because they're finally at a place where they feel free enough to speak up and say, I don't like this, or I don't want this, or I don't tolerate that, or this makes me feel. Because there was a time that before them and me, we laid down and didn't say shit.
Yeah, that's true.
And we let people molest, and we let the uncles touch, and we let you feel what I'm saying? The shit that nobody talks about in the black families. We let that shit slide. One day too
Right.
many. So for that, say what the fuck you want to say. Talk your shit, sis.
Right. And that's why I will say with me and my son and to this day, my mother is probably pissed off at me about the fact that I let my son have his voice and talk and say what he feels and how he feels. For her, she feels like it's disrespectful. But for me, I feel like he needs that. Like we needed that as children. Like we needed to have our voice and be able to voice our opinions. And we didn't, so we were stifled. And one thing I had said when I became a parent was, I'm never going to stifle my child. So my son knows if you got something to say it. You are free to say how you feel. And I'll tell him, hey, okay, I understand that this is a lot. Like the last 2 years, I've told him, like, hey, I get this has been a lot going on. And I don't want you to feel like you can't talk to me. Like me and him have a great relationship. Like he talks to me about everything. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, bro, let me tell you something. Mama don't need to know that, okay? Like it's a bit like I'll be like, hey, tell your nana, don't tell me. I don't want to know. It'd be a little too much. But I'm glad that we have that relationship to where he feels comfortable enough to talk to me. But I also tell him, hey, because sometimes I can tell that he's like holding back and stifling himself. And I'll tell him, hey, you have free range to say what you feel, how you feel. And I said, if you want to cuss, you got free range to do that right now. Like, this is your moment. This is your time to say it how you feel. And, like, I didn't have that as a child. It was speak when spoken to, get your ass in that room, stay out of grown folk business. And for him, I let him say what he feels and how he feels so we have a better relationship. But I feel like if we didn't have that, I feel like my child would be... Honestly, I feel like with all that's going on in his life and how he's had male figures in his life and how those male figures have treated him, I honestly feel like if me and him didn't have the relationship that we have, and if him and his nana didn't have the relationship that they have, my son wouldn't be here today. Like, I feel like he might have committed suicide. Because Kiana knows that kid has been through a lot in his last 19 years. And I don't know anybody who could deal with the shit that he's been through in the last 19 years and be as sane and as comfortable in their own skin as he is. Like, yeah, I don't. So for
well, here's I don't want to cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do have a question here because we're completely off topic, and the hell with it. But like, I mean, it is what it is. We started off talking about cheating. When I edit this, the first hour will be about cheating. The last hour will be about relationships, life, and raising kids. It is what it is. It's my show. But I think, when we start talking about that, I think if you, like, we talking about what Kasana's gone through or whatever, but it's like, if you stop and look back at all of our lives, like, you think about what it was to be a kid without a voice, or just like the way we grew up in general, I can stop and think about a couple of things that each one of us has had to do or had to figure out on the fly between the ages of, 6 and 18 or 6 and 19.
like, we wouldn't be here.
Where it's like, man, like
if you really
what was being put on you that you thought, like,
if you really think back at your childhood,
the fact that we got to this point, and we're sitting here discussing it at all and trying to fix it, period. Like, when people bring it up, it's like, no, I get that.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, because I catch myself, like, when people say stuff, I'm like, man, y'all kind of baby these kids. But at the same time, you think about, like, I was raised on a harsh regimen.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like, all right, maybe they're not being baby. Maybe this is accurate. Right. But, like, at some point in time, but, like, yeah, you do think about, like, you know, I can't think any of us that was like, oh, well, you know, 18, we still trying to be here. Like, we was 17 and 3/4 going, how am I getting out?
And that's why,
in these next couple months.
And that's why I make sure I check in with Kasan and have conversations with him, because, like, a lot of things that are happening with children his age and just children in general is not something that was publicized in our generation. It was happening, but it wasn't publicized. Like, now we got smartphones, we got videos and all those things. But now that it's publicized and it's more evident and more in the forefront of parents' minds, because I'm gonna be honest, let me tell you one thing about this type of shit. When I was younger, like, she wasn't thinking about this. This was not in her forefront of her mind when she was young, when she was raising me and my brother. Like, so now raising Kasan, even though he's 19, like, I still got to think about these things. Like, all the shit that happened in 2021, 2019, starting at 2019, 2021, 2022, like, I got to literally check in on my child's mental state, because I have to be aware and notice, like, okay, he's sleeping a lot more. He done got a lot more quiet. He been in the gym a lot more. Let me have a conversation with him, because some shit could go left real quick. And when things pop up with him, or it's another family issue or another family tragedy that we've been through, I got to check in with him, because we all know, at least Kiana, you know, that baby will go quiet real quick and not say shit to nobody. Like, he will come in, he'll be like, hey, Ma, and go in his room. And and when that starts happening, it's okay, let's have a conversation. Like, let's talk about this. And I don't know where he gets this from. I'm pretty sure it's from that sperm donor. But he's in his mindset, he has that, I'm not finna take family business out of here. I'm not finna go to therapy. But what I will say is that he has found somebody that he is comfortable with, who actually is a therapist, to have conversations with. Besides me, like, he has no problem with talking to me. Especially when I tell him, be free and say what you want to say, regardless if it's cuss words or not. Oh, when I tell him that, baby. Let me tell you, we be in here 2, 3, 4 hours talking. And I call her later and be like, bitch, help me. Because your child is over here losing his goddamn mind. But, like, I appreciate the fact that he is that comfortable with me. But I also appreciate that he has people in his life who are actually licensed therapists, who he may not have to pay, but he can sit down and say, hey, I need to have a real conversation with you. And he doesn't feel like he's in a therapy session, but he's still getting those tools. Like, people say that raising kids now, back in the day, like, raising kids, they say it's the same. No, raising kids now is a whole different ball game than when our parents raised us. I don't care what nobody say. Being a parent right now, baby, if you ain't got your own therapy and your own form of Jesus, whoever Jesus may be to you, you ain't gonna make it.
I mean, I think it's a different set of triggers. Like, we still have, we have all our unhealed problems, and so then you have children, and they might do something that triggers that same problem. I wouldn't know. I learned my lesson. I got scared one time, and only lesson I've learned once in life. Not doing this again. So
no, but that is a fact. Like, we have, because it be sometimes he'll say something to me, and I'll realize, oh, bitch, that's a trigger for you. Like, you finna lose your shit. Calm down. Think about it and say something, like, rethink what you finna say to him, because I will fly off the handle. because it's my own personal trigger. So no, that is a real thing. Like you have to, as a parent now, you have to know your own trigger to help your child with their triggers.
Before we get into this, you cannot go to the bathroom while you're on the phone.
I'm not.
I just want you to know this right now.
My phone. Shut up.
Let's be clear. That's where the brother-sister line stops. You are not finna take me in the bathroom and FaceTime.
I'm getting my charger. Shut up. And that's the wrong one.
That's where this line ends, bro.
I'm not.
No. If you...
It's my charger.
We ain't taking it that far.
I'm trying to find my charger.
Sure. What? Yeah, whatever. Oh my god.
I think this is the right one.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm the only person on here that hasn't married. I'm the only person on here not gonna have a kid. That's awesome. I love this.
You eventually will. I just don't know when.
Oh no, I eventually won't.
Okay. Well, there's that.
No. That won't be happening.
Well, I guess we'll never be aunties.
First of all, let's be real about the situation. I got a lot of payback coming from all these people's kids I'd messed up. So I can't do that. Plus, I don't know if in this current climate, I don't know if a smaller version of me that doesn't know how to meter themselves is going to survive.
True.
We all know I'll say anything, but I've learned to say anything tactfully or in the right location. That's not going to work for somebody else that's born in a year from now with the way things are going on. I'm going to have the only preschooler canceled. So.
That is true. Yeah.
So let's.
Well, I don't know. If Tyron starts talking soon, I might be on the campus. Because when he starts talking, baby, let me tell you, look. Don't even call me and tell me what he said. Just send him home. I don't want to know, because now he's nonverbal, but his face, and he be. I'm like, I don't know what you said, but I know it was disrespectful.
And
I know you had a pocket.
Walk off on your ass. Oh, you know he done said some shit that's disrespectful. Because I'd be like, little boy, I am still your nana. I am, boy. If he is not me and her together, oh my God.
Good thing he can't talk, because you and her together. I ain't got that kind of bail money.
Once he starts talking, he gonna get put out. I'm going to have to learn to pay for private school, because he probably going to get put out of every public school in a 50-mile radius. Them lips. They reckless, and he ain't even said nothing yet.
Facial expression is reckless.
Nah, I ain't
what the fucking problem is. Because I'd be ready to punch him in the throat. Be like, I know you said something disrespectful. I don't know what it was, but I know you did.
See, this is all the more reason for me to be like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want no kids. I'm good. I appreciate it. But no, I'm gonna take this graceful bow out. I've congratulated Lamar and Colin. Y'all have won. Thank you. I normally don't concede, victory to anything. I love to fight. But this is on y'all. It's not gonna happen. You won 3-2. I'm not even in the race. I'm not even. I can't compete. I'm sorry. Y'all got it. No. I want no part of it. No part of it.
Parenting ain't for the weak, especially nowadays.
I don't believe myself to be a weak individual, but I just. One.
No, they don't tell you the traumatics that come along with it. They make it sound like it is just this beautiful journey, and you get to produce this human, and you just get to watch it flourish, and you just be blessed by this gift that God has given you. Nobody tells you the traumatics that go in. You will never sleep again. You will never have any real money again. You will never get to eat your own food again. You have to deal with teachers, and they're going to outgrow their clothes every 3 weeks. And it's like nobody tells you that, like, it's like life altering, that you now have to think of someone else's every being before you can
Yourself.
think of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Like, it's traumatizing.
These are facts.
And nobody, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you, they don't give you the full picture.
These are facts. I do not recommend. So
I'm
stay
cool.
on your path, Marcus. I do not recommend.
It's the ghetto. Parenting is the ghetto. Parenting is the ghetto. And if you have escaped it so far,
Remain on that road. Whatever road you on,
Not parenting
stay
is
on
the
that
ghetto.
road, because this parenting road,
Parenting is the
Let me
hood.
tell
Get
you
up out of
something.
it. Don't
this
go.
parenting road, it ain't
No.
no. Even
parenting is like
even
living
as they
enrichment.
even as they
Oh,
get
my God.
older,
That is
even as they
parenting.
get older, because they're still in your pockets.
It never
They're still in
stops.
your pockets. They still want to eat your food. They still all of it. Even as they get older, even when they 19, 18, 19, and they're supposed to be adults and mind their own self business. No, they still being your shit. They still want you. They still want your money. They still want your food. I to this day still can't go to Wendy's. Okay, Wendy's, without a nigga saying, "Hey, where mine? Can I get a fry?" Okay. I'll tell you something. It's ghetto. It's Richmond. It's North Richmond. Don't do it.
Richmond.
Stay on whatever road.
Not North
Stay
Richmond.
whatever road
North
you
Richmond.
on.
Yeah,
Don't
that's-
do it.
Not cutting bull.
Don't do
No,
it.
no.
Don't do it.
Oh,
It's not
my
okay.
God.
Whatever road you
It's
on,
not okay.
stay on it.
I love my child with his whole being. I promise you that. And I would lay down my life for his without question.
Not having another.
However, this
doing
is
it
the
again.
ghetto. This is the ghetto. And 10 out of 10 do
Recommend.
not
Not doing it.
recommend. If you have escaped, stay there. I feel like I am parenting inmate number Z29706.
I'll tell you something.
And when they carrying you through the most shit, it's during the years that you will go to jail for retaliating.
Oh,
they're
my
keeping
God.
you up and you just throw their little ass up against the wall. So you really just be
Yeah.
getting punked for real.
Do not recommend. Don't at all.
I'm good. I've been good. Like I've never wanted kids. Like I've always been grateful that y'all have taken that care of that for me. Like I ain't gotta do nothing besides show up and be the bad influence.
That's it.
Thank you.
Whatever road you on, stay on that road. Because us, we fucked around and took that left and went down that parenting road. Don't take that left, bruh.
Oh yeah. I told you it's the only lesson I've had to learn once. You can pick any other thing I've had to learn, or you tried to tell me have asked it, I didn't messed it up, and you try to figure it out again. The only lesson I learned once was learned outside of a taco truck at Chappelle Junior College. I don't want this.
This ain't
I don't want
the
this.
life you want. I'm telling you, this ain't it. And I was the first one. And you looked around and she followed. Like, bitch, you didn't see the results in the beginning? I was the prototype, and you fucked around and did the same thing.
I was peer pressured.
Come on.
No, tell the truth and shame the devil. I was peer pressured.
I ain't gonna lie.
You can't give it to the
Okay.
peer pressure. You ain't gonna
She
give it, you
she peer pressured me the
This is
entire
true. And I ain't gonna
time.
lie. I
You
did
can't
go
give
for
to
that
the peer
'cause
pressure.
I did want a guy, baby. But still, it's tragic. Like, don't do it.
See, that's the problem. You just
I was.
selfish.
I
That's
ain't
the
gonna
problem.
lie.
You selfish
I was.
because you saw the trauma you went through and was
I
like,
need
you know
somebody
what? I still want my title.
My thing was, hey, bitch, we best friends. What I go through, you go through. So, goddamn it, if I'm going through this parenting shit, bitch, you going through it too.
Oh, what the fuck? You went through
Trauma bonding.
trauma
Lord have
bonding.
mercy.
No, this is why that it makes no sense. This is why there's no trauma bonding.
Mm-mm.
She had this kid at 22.
21.
He was 21. You can't demand somebody else have a kid 16
Like that.
years later.
Because I even told her, I said, hey, bitch, you gonna have a kid and you gonna
This
understand
wasn't-
what the fuck I'm going
This
through.
wasn't no pregnancy pack.
No.
Nah, this wasn't no pregnancy pack when we was going through freshman year of college. This
No.
wasn't that. After going through 16 years of abuse, First-hand knowledge.
I told her though. I said, "Bitch, I'm going through it. You gonna go through it too." I said, "I don't know when, but you gonna go through it." And I said, "Oh, you buying big wheels at 1, bitch? I'm buying a big wheel at 1 too." So when my time came on, you best believe I bought a big wheel. You damn right. Yeah, damn it. If I'm going through it, bitch, you going through it too. We gonna go through this together. I don't care how long it's gonna take. But we going through it together.
You didn't go through it together. You really did.
We did.
Not at all. Not even remotely close.
She understands my pain.
Because if you no, bull. Because you remember how shook we were when we had to figure out what we was gonna do that lovely October when we were trying to figure out who we was gonna tell and how we was gonna tell people.
I will say, at least she waited till she got married. Clementine.
Exactly. There was a complete difference. Wasn't nobody working virtually minimum wage.
When I tell you,
when she had her kid.
Clementine was like, "Bitch, what? I not speak to you for a whole month. No speaker to you.
No speaker to you. Oh my God.
But still, now she understands.
I didn't come clean till I was 25, so I held out.
At least she understands. She understands my plight. See, she got to go.
Oh,
she
I didn't want to understand.
She got to come play and cuddle and kiss on and go home. Now that's my job. I get to come play, kiss on, and go home. We done got one in college.
You across the street.
That don't matter. I go home. I go home. I come, I play, I kiss on, I hug, I go home. See, she used to do that. She got to do that for a long time. She got to do that for about 18 years. Now? Nah, baby. Nah.
See, this is what karma is. This is how long petty lasts right here. This is how long petty lasts.
You're damn right. Because I surely was waiting for the day. Oh, when she told me she was pregnant, I was like, oh, yes. I'm getting a big wheel and I'm finna play, get sugar, and go home. That was my life. That's all I wanted. And I haven't succeeded multiple times.
But I'm just saying, I think everybody should learn, because there was a kid in between. Asia F was everybody, baby. So
Asia wasn't fucking with me though. Asia didn't like me for a long time. For a long time. Auntie. Now she loves me. Beforehand, she was like, "Who is this bitch? I don't know her." She wasn't fucking with me for a very long time. But that's okay.
You was dark. She didn't know nothing about dark women. She was like,
well, I mean,
who sent you?
It was the complexion that threw her off.
Asia was Asia was Asia.
Yeah,
Asia
it
was
the
like,
complexion
so
that threw Asia off.
Didn't happen.
But once she realized,
and now she
loved me. Beforehand,
once she realized you wasn't the op.
She loved me. Beforehand, Asia was like, somebody call the police on this bitch. Something wrong.
He would that. Oh my.
That's all right. The wheels has turned because Tyron stares at her like the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. He just holds her face and like gazes at her like she is the most mesmerizing thing he has ever seen. And I'm telling you that as his mama. Like he looks at her like she is the finest thing he has ever seen. The most most beautifulest goddess that has ever graced his presence. And he does it every time. Not just once. Every time. She leans in and he holds her face and he gazes up like, I'm like, what is
TT and Nika hate it. They be like, what the fuck?
I was like, he gonna like them dark, honey, cause
he gonna like them Chinese girls, cause he be me and him.
He gonna like them dark.
Ooh, 5'2",
and he
black
grabs
as apple.
my face. Like he'll grab my face with both his hands and just stare at me. And I'll be like, yes, baby. Nana, love you. It's our relationship. And then he'll do something. I'll be like, you on my nerves, little nigga. And then he'll go about his business and then he'll come back and then he'll grab my face. And we all good again. It's a love-hate relationship, but it's okay. It's more love than hate.
Jesus.
Nope.
Jesus.
It works for us.
That's
Y'all have given me a headache today.
y'all. I've just been sitting here facilitating the conversation.
Don't hold your shocked hand up, Professor Moss.
Out here
You
threatening,
started with the shenanigans at 9 a.m.
threatening
First of all,
people's lives so gingerly and carefully.
I said I was going to be an audience participant.
She did.
You know the rules. What she does, I do. So
And then Marcus was like, yeah, no, because she said she looked regular. And I don't know what y'all version of regular is. So before I just pop her up here, and she looked like Aqua Badesi. No. So then we cut the show short. And then you pop me back on here after I got my locks together. And here we are. And you already know I'm 7-layer burrito dip deep. So why you do that to them? It's
Because she knew we could handle it.
I was like, yo, I was like, I've never had an audience member. Let's add an audience member. It'll be cool. She can type in the chat. We'll go from there. Now I can't see her.
You know she did.
All right, well, damn it, what the hell?
But yeah, it worked out though.
I mean, yeah, it definitely worked out. So I don't necessarily say I want to end this because this has been enlightening. This has been fun, and I'm sure we're gonna have to do this again on a different topic, and we're gonna stay on topic because now I have to figure out how I'm headed.
We did. We went to like 4 different topics.
It was on topic. This is the long term
we were on topic for a very cool time, and then we just slowly slid off into childhood and
But that's the
therapy
thing.
and relationships in general. So there's long-term effects of being cheated on, and this is the thing. So I don't know how I'm gonna cut this
But
up,
that's the thing.
or if I might not cut it up at all. But it's been 2 hours and 28 minutes at this point, so I don't know how I'm gonna put this out.
Yeah, because like honestly though, when you think about it, cheating, when it comes to cheating and relationships, it all involves, especially if you're a parent, because you're cheating,
Right.
You being cheated on or you cheating still affects your child, because you being cheated on, because I'm gonna be honest, when Kassan found out the whole situation and that I was cheated on, he was like, you good? Because if you ain't good, I ain't good. And it's fucked the nigga on sight. So it's really however you choose to maneuver your situation is how your child is gonna maneuver your situation. So it all depends. Like it all involves everything. So it kind of still was on topic. It just went slight.
It was a dive. It was a
slight left. It wasn't a hard left. It was a slight left.
Nah.
That's all.
It says the person.
It was a curse.
Says the person. Yeah, it says the person that's slightly cheated.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I done fully cheated. I done cheated for revenge. I done cheated because the nigga wasn't acting right, and I had that conversation. Like, I'll be the first one to tell you, yeah, nigga, yes, I did sit on that other dick. Sure did. And you wasn't you wasn't doing it right. I tried to have the conversation. You didn't believe what I was saying, so I went and sat on the other dick. But that's the old me. The new me is, let's have this conversation. You don't want to understand what I'm saying? Okay, deuces to you. Now I'm gonna be able to sit on this old dick with no other frame of mind. Like, oh damn, I cheated. That's not who I am anymore. So that's the difference. Or
Amen.
it could just be upfront. Hey, I'm gonna sit on multiple dicks, and you gonna sit in multiple coochies, and then when we come together, it's your dick and my coochie, and then we gonna move about our life. But that's not it just depends on the conversation.
There's too many passengers on my bus. I can't do it. I can't. I don't operate an Uber. I don't even like getting on BART no more. So
the conversation you have with the person.
No, man. Because the first time I gotta make an unscheduled Kaiser appointment, somebody gotta die. So
that's the thing. It's a conversation. So like, I know in this situation, I'm not sitting on nobody else's dick, and he not sticking his dick in nobody else's coochie. we know, we have that conversation. We know what it is. Now, before this,
I can't afford having my dick looking like a yam. I'm cool. No.
Before this, it was be safe. If you ain't safe, then we need to have another conversation. But I'm comfortable in the conversation that we've had.
Pimp.
So, and we had that conversation from jump.
Right.
Because I told him from jump, hey, bro, I don't know what the fuck you got going on in your life, but this is mine. And if you can't handle that, then you need to set. Because this is what it is. And this is what I'm looking for.
Oh.
And here we are. I'm on a flight to LA in a couple days.
Okay, so
my shit is just as simple as I'm allergic to
Me
latex.
too.
So what I don't have time for is a yeast infection. You feel what I'm saying? I don't have time for a yeast infection. My youngest child is 22 years old. I have been spayed and neutered. What I don't have time for is to have to be having sex with my nigga and he got a sausage casing in. We don't have time for that. Okay? Nor do I have time to be scratching my vajayjay because you've been running silicone and Aquafina and I can't believe it's not rubber in my vajayjay.
Right.
So unless we exclude it now, then fuck around. No.
Right.
No, just no. And that's how I even found out that my husband was cheating. Because whoever he was fucking, he was at least nice enough to put a condom on. But when he circled that shit back around.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
I will say I found out the hard way that I'm allergic to latex also.
Yeah.
So, and that was,
so yeah.
I mean, I
ain't
knew
got time
it.
for that. Ain't got time for
toys. But I was like,
figure that shit out.
As like, you know, as you grow, your allergies and things change. I was like, oh, maybe it was cool.
I don't think they changed that.
Listen, I found out the hard way that because I was like, hey, bro.
We ain't talking about a peanut allergy. You don't outgrow what you can eat.
I found out the hard way.
It's internal.
No, bitch, you're still allergic to latex. And I was like, hey, bro, let me tell you something. I'm allergic to latex. So we need to have sit down and have a real conversation on what this is. Because
that's as somebody who's going out, I've literally hopped out and made a dash for some lambskin condoms. There ain't no excuse, pimp. I done ran across Livermore. Just take care of that business. So,
No doubt about it. But I guess that, like you said, it depends on passengers and buses. And,
I can't.
And all of that.
I'm gonna keep it 100. You give me something I can't get rid of. I'm something you can't get rid of. We are not together for life. So you need to sort that out right now.
Unfortunately, I can't get rid of my child and me and this nigga in it for life. We ain't doing that, but we in this shit for life.
Right, exactly. So you give me something I can't. You give me something I can't take a pill or a shot for. You signed up for a lot of Marcus, and two of these three pedal bimbles would tell you 24/7 me.
Bitch, be ready. Bitch, get your weed and your alcohol together. Bitch, be ready.
It's okay. I can already tell from the last hour and 50 minutes and 34 seconds.
No. So, in order to wrap up this 3-hour conversation, I'm going to ask 2 more questions, and we'll see how this plays out. Does anybody have actually, I've asked this before, but we're going to ask this again now that everybody's been drinking. I see people trying to drink water, trying to sober up. It's too late. We're here now. Let's go ahead and embrace it. Does anybody have a funny cheating story? What you did, you thought was hilarious. What they did when they were so dumb, it was hilarious. Sarita, go ahead and put your hand in the fucking air. Because now that we're in this, I know some of the shit that didn't happen is just stupid as hell. And I'm like, he thought that was gonna work. Okay, Kiana, I know you didn't. I know you've hurt somebody's heart. That psych ward, John George, all them phone calls I received, probably.
I don't know which one to go with.
That's what I'm saying. Pick your favorite. Because I was thinking about it. I think my favorite one is probably my first one. I'll start the story. when I realized that I was going to be a different individual and I was going to earn my y'all already know I don't use my middle name. Y'all call me my middle name for a very specific reason. And what I learned was this is probably how it all started. Every villain has their origin story, and it was just like you growing up, with just a single mom, like you treat women different. Like there's that chivalry and there's the expectation of what you should do for women. And so you carry that into dating, but then you quickly realize that don't play no part in what's going on right now. So being told I had to cheat on you because you treated me too well was the funniest shit I'd ever heard in my life. And it's still the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Because I'm like, as quick as cats are to be like, oh, he ain't shit.
Huh? Hey, I got it now, god damn it. Shit. I done logged out. Okay.